Hello, boys and girls. How are you? Long time no see. This is JC, and today I bring you a review with the Yoyorecreation Overdrive Draupnir. This is new. I've done Yoyorecreation before, only once with the Slipnir, but this is a newer model by them. I think this was made maybe 2 years ago, 2020, and just the name is kind of significant. The Overdrive Draupnir. Now, Yoyorecreation, for those of you who, or for pretty much anyone, you know that Draupnir, the weight behind the name Draupnir, right here it is. And you know that Draupnir, it is basically the best yo-yo. That's widely considered to be the best yo-yo for a long time, maybe even till today. But I guess the competition is pretty rough today. But Yoyorecreation, the Draupnir, is pretty much what started the trend for bimetals, right? People realized, wow, this is incredible, perfect in pretty much every way. And they decided to go bimetal. And the Draupnir, even till this day, it's Yoyorecreation. I don't think they ever remade the Draupnir or made like a updated version. They never milked the name. I believe the only time they did it was with a POM Draupnir, but that was nothing like that was just a dud as far as I know. And if it's like any other manufacturer, they make a hit model, they would milk the crap out of it. Like, how many shutters are there? 20? And for C3, there are probably like 10, 15 different crowns they released. But Yoyorecreation, this is the first time they made, well, at least the name, something with the name Draupnir. And it surely would bring in a lot of hype after saving it for a decade, pretty much. So if you look at the Overdrive Draupnir, you can see the design is, well, every Yoyorecreation design is kind of like this, almost every. Right there, they make different variants for different players, but generally their yo-yos come with this tapered V shape. Sometimes the rim is bigger, sometimes smaller. But if you compare the Overdrive Draupnir to the Draupnir, you can see that it is the numbers, the dimensions are really similar. Pretty much. Okay, the Overdrive Draupnir is just a tiny bit wider. I don't think I can even show it. And so this is slightly wider Draupnir with more rim weight. They're very careful with changing their stuff, because with other manufacturers, as you can see in my other reviews, they're going nuts with the dimensions. I mean, they're making super huge, super wide yo-yos. But Yoyorecreation, they were way ahead of the time with their models like the Slipnir and Draupnir. But after 10 years, they're still sticking with the old recipe, right? It seems like they are just isolated from the rest of the world. They know what they're doing. They stick with what they're doing. I really respect that. So just to look at the Overdrive Draupnir by itself. Oh, sorry. It is worth mentioning that this is the signature model of Ryota Ogi, which is, again, another big, because Ryota Ogi is like one of the hottest players. He was one of the hottest players without like a major trophy, because he tends to make a lot of errors on the stage, probably due to the nerves or some other reason. Like now, man, I think he missed the best time, because now we're doing the online yo-yo contest. Imagine if we had online yo-yo contests 5 years ago, he would probably win it every time, because his tricks were ridiculous for his time. Even nowadays, you look at them, they're crazy. So it takes something special to be Ryota Ogi's signature model. Okay, let's just take a closer look at the design, because I was showing the profile mostly, which looks a bit like a Draupnir with a wider rim. But if you look at the inside, we have a bit of a curve here, right? What's it called? Like a protrusion here. So it's not great for finger spin. And you can see that the rims are wide, but they're not the thickest. You can see that it is 2 layers. We have a layer of aluminum right here, and then we have a layer of steel on the outside. So based on this, you can kind of guess how it would feel on the string compared to the Draupnir. And so when it's on the string, this yo-yo feels, well, the first impression is you try to go fast, right? Try to go fast against Draupnir, basically, and see if it keeps up. And the answer is no, it's not quite as fast as the Draupnir. You feel a little more resistance. But Draupnir is so fast that sometimes you would, for the average player, you would feel like you're out of control. You lose control. But for the Overdrive Draupnir, I feel like for me personally, it is perfect. Like the way the momentum, the weight is just perfect. And it's, again, I think we are gone are the days of speed, 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 speed. And now most players, while going fast, they aim for more of a balance, right? More of balance. If you, even Ryota Oki, he doesn't go Godspeed, right? He goes fast. Same with like some of the newer players, like if you look at Akitoshi Tokobuchi, or even Gentry Stein, Evan Nagao, they don't go that fast, right? So this yo-yo, I think it fits with a lot of the other yo-yos that are hot nowadays, I'd say. Yeah, for example, again, this is one I always go to, the Hydrogen Crash, because I think probably C3's best yo-yo at a mainstream price tag at $100. This is like their best. And these two yo-yos feel a kind of similar, except you can tell that the Hydrogen Crash is the shape is a lot more mainstream. It's wider, it's smaller. Meanwhile, the Overdrive Draupnir is taller, and it's narrower, right? Which actually a lot narrower, if you notice. Yeah, which this fits with, again, like I said earlier, Yoyorecreation, they stick with what works for them. And of course, the Overdrive Draupnir is a bit of a older model compared to this, but not by too long. It's been like, I think maybe 1 or 2 years earlier. So on the string, it's with the slower speed comes with really, really great stability. Like when I feel so safe when playing with this yo-yo, because I know where it's going, and I know that it's going to get there, even if it's at lower spin speeds, even if it's not the best throw, it's going to get there. And it's not great. It feels a bit, again, I was using the Draupnir a lot before this, and it feels a bit sluggish by comparison when you're trying to do like a small, or we're trying to do change in direction, like sudden change in direction. You can feel a lot more momentum. It feels like you have to kind of make a compromise with a yo-yo in order to get to be able to do a lot of the things without too much effort. And what's amazing about this one is that I believe it. The exchange is worth it. The exchange is like you're exchanging a little bit of speed for at least the feeling of a lot more stability, right? And overall, I think it puts you at a pretty good pace for your tricks to be cool to look at, but it's not like you're going crazy fast like the early days when Yuki Spencer and Hiroki Suzuki were going at it. You're not going crazy fast. So this is kind of the modern. I feel like it's a more modern version of the Draupnir. In terms of horizontal style, I think the Overdrive Draupnir and the Draupnir are pretty much on par with each other. The Overdrive Draupnir feels a bit more stable, but when I test it, they're like similar when it comes to spin time, when it comes to consistency. Although I'm not the authority when it comes to horizontal, or when it comes to anything, but it's just how I feel. All right, and when it comes to tech, like a slower style, again, clearly this yo-yo is not meant for it, but I think it can do a decent job because this is more of an all-rounder than the Draupnir. And it doesn't spin quite as long as some of the models, like for example Turning Point, or some of the, like this model here, right? You can tell this model, the Galaxy Diver, is made for slower and more smooth and more tech styles. And the Overdrive Draupnir isn't quite that, but I think it can do a pretty okay job at pretty much everything. Yeah, can't find anything that is weak at. The price is really high. I can't remember exactly how much it is. I think it's I'll put it on the screen, like 160, 170-ish. So pretty much close to the old Yoyorecreation prices. And Yoyorecreation, for their old model, they used to be made in Japan, but now they have all their production in China. So realistically, in terms of cost, this isn't really much different than the other models, but they still maintain a premium price tag. I get it that Yoyorecreation is kind of the top competition brand. They have this prestige, but in terms of value, I would say it is not the best value, because again, gone are the days when Yoyorecreation had like exclusively the best yo-yos. Because nowadays, a lot of manufacturers they're catching up in terms of performance. Like C3 Yo-Yo Factory, even Duncan, there a lot of their yo-yos are excellent, and not to mention a lot of the smaller brands. Yeah, so the Yoyorecreation, they no longer have this exclusivity. Yeah, words are hard. Yeah, they no longer have this. Even though some may argue that they never had it, it's just kind of hype. But I do believe that back then, Yoyorecreation, like I would pay that much for a YYR because their yo-yos were just that good. But nowadays, yeah, I think you have to be a fan of Yoyorecreation, be kind of like their players, Ryota Ogi and their other players, to justify this kind of price tag. Because in terms of looks, I mean, it doesn't look anything special. Yoyorecreation never puts too much attention on the aesthetics. And sure, the build quality is like perfect. It's excellent, but that's kind of standard nowadays, right? So yeah, I would recommend this if you like Yoyorecreation. But otherwise, there are plenty of yo-yos at lower prices that can pretty much do the same thing. Yep, that's my review for the Overdrive Draupnir. Thank you very much.